All right, guys. Once again, we stopped the video so I can get things done and cleaned up a little and get ahead of it so you're not watching me do everything. Now, I'm going to look at that, huh? That's what I'm talking about. That's all those mushrooms cooked down to that. Nice light brown. I'm letting it cool now because we're gonna that'll be for the next step. All right. While that's going on, all right, I was cleaning the fish. And like I said, we're gonna take the skin off these because we don't serve the skin. First of all, you feel for these what they call pin bones, P-I-N, chin bones. You feel for them. You cut those off. This can go into the stock pot. There's nothing wrong with something like that. We generally don't put the skin in just because of the scales. Now this is not a let me get a better piece now. Let's see, right here, you got this here, you got a little pin bones there, you got the skin on there. So what I'm going to do is take it and just trim it up. All right. This, once again, I said this is good for the stock. And what you do is you bring the skin to the edge of the board and you hold it here. You cut a little. I'm using like a saw action, right, until I get to there where I can grab the skin. And what you do is pull the skin one way and the knife the other way. Gently, holding it at a downward angle. All right. And you're off. And what you have is a nice skinless fillet with no bones. Once again, it's important. This is nice because obviously you're going to see what we're going to be doing with these, stuffing these with the duxelle. So this is a nice piece. Skin, like I said, well, be honest with you, some chefs put it in the stocks because you do strain the stocks. Generally, I don't. This is for my sous chef. I got a little sous chef bowl here. He loves fish. Okay, here's another piece. Once again, you bring it to the edge of the board and a sawing motion, gently cut it until you get a large enough piece that you can hold, and holding the skin and the knife going in opposite directions. Now, this takes a little skill because you don't want to, if you cut the skin, it's very difficult to get the skin off. Skin off, skin on. Once again, one more time, take the pin bones, trim them off. My sous chef is down here staring at me. What do you want, boy? Don't worry, I'll take care of you. Once again, head, tail. That's another thing I didn't really make it clear. This is the head part, this is the tail part. It's the thin part. Bring it to the edge. The sawing motion. Get underneath it. So you want to angle it down and angle it up. You want to go right across using the board as your guide. You got a little skin on that one there. Okay, well, that's okay. So oops, where are you there? See, I missed that little bits of skin. I will take that off manually. But once again, you don't want to present it with skin like this. Like this is a nice one. This one is a little too much gogi on there, but that happens. Don't worry about it. It'll happen. Moving on to the stock. All right, I rinsed the bones. All right. Now, chicken stock cooks for 4 hours, right? 3 hours with bones and then 1 hour with the mirepoix. Fish stock, something like this, bone is thin, you're going to cook for 10 minutes. It's not going to be that long, right? So I'm going to take a little long. Just mirepoix. Don't cut it small. Celery. Well, this might be a little too much celery. Once again, the term concassé means rough cut. Don't cut your vegetables too small for mirepoix because we just want the flavor. We don't want the color. Bay leaf, parsley stems, I have crushed garlic, tonguchu, black pepper, and some dry thyme. Okay. Now at school we have sangsu. The water is actually really good at school. It depends. After a heavy rain, it does have a fishy smell. The water. This is Seoul City water, so I use filtered water. At school though, we have very good water. What I'm going to do is just enough to cover the bones. What we're going to need to do is add some white wine to this. Quick rinse of the hands. So I'll take the fish and put it in the refrigerator. Because it should always stay fresh. Today's choice. Look this up on the internet. Kendall Jackson Chardonnay. Very, very nice. It should be very nice. Vintage 2014. So it's a little old, but I got it at a good price, so that's why I went there. Plus, they gave me a little kit that came with it. Things I've never seen before. I mean, I can understand how these things work. I can see this. This is for cutting the cap. I would assume like this. I should have tried this first. Oh, like that. Oh, like that. Okay. Like that. And you turn. Yeah. Clever. Right. We should dust off the top. Everything else has fish on it, so dust off the top. And then standard corkscrew. Once again. Oh, this is pretty light. This is pretty thin. It came with the bottle set type of thing. Oh, that's a nice saw. That's for cutting off the cast. That's nice. Okay. This is pretty light. So once again, but you guys, I don't know if you've been in my wine class or anything like that. We open up a lot of wines. Take the point, push the point in, push it up, and turn. And a snapping motion. Snap, 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 snap. That's in case the cork is broken or damaged. If you wind slowly, you kind of make garu out of it. So snapping it is a good thing. You bring it right up to the point, up here. And then like a gun, right? This is a two-stage one. So you hold it here. You hold this really tight. You got to hold it really tight. And then you pull up. Right? This is a two-stage one. It looks fancy. Right? Then you pull up again. Then you get up to this point, you make a circle, you make that little pop. Ooh. White wine's always used in fish stocks. We could deglaze with it. Once again, we're making fish, so it's a good thing. This comes with a little, I guess, a pouring, so you don't make a mess on your table. That's rather nice. And a very fancy stopper. C'est bon, c'est bon. Anyway, we're going to add a little to the fish stock. And of course, with dinner, this will be an excellent choice. A Chardonnay is always a good choice for any kind of seafood dinner. I'm going to put this on the back burner. And like with any stock, always bring it to a boil first to kill any bacteria. After that, we're going to simmer it for about 10 minutes, and that's going to be about it. While that's going on, we're going to finish off the duxelle. We have the parsley somewhere. Here we go. Once again, in my class, I don't make garu out of the herbs. I like to keep them fairly large, only for flavor, texture, and appearance. So what I do is make a little ball. Once again, I push it against the knife. Then once again, chop, 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 chop. Not making garu. I'm cutting it small, yes, but I'm not chopping, re-chopping, and chopping and re-chopping, that's not what I'm doing. I'm cutting it once, holding it against the knife blade. Just be careful, right? And then cut once this way. That's all I require out of that. Okay. Now in the recipe it calls for shallots. I'm using white onion. I couldn't find shallots before. No big deal. And well, yes, it is a big deal in some ways, but for now, what can we do? And we have very little onions, so. Okay. And we want to cut the onions fairly small because we want it to blend in with the duxelle. I moved the stock over here and put the duxelle back there to cool because it has to be cold because we're going to be adding an egg to it. And once again, we're not making an omelet. We're using the egg. Once again, it's a French cooking term which shows up on the list. Panada. Panadas are anything that's used to make things thicker. So we're going to use the egg whites to hold our duxelle together. Right? Okay, we got our stock is brought to a boil. If we could take a look here. You see, it's a nice color. It's a real nice color. Once again, you can't smell it. You don't really stir stock, so we're just shaking it to make sure that the heat gets distributed. And I'm going to turn it down to a light simmer. Okay, well that's going on. You notice this recipe really doesn't contain any garlic in it except for what's in the fish stock. That's pretty typical for a lot of classical cooking. And the French are known to use garlic. They're actually considered the garlic lovers of Europe, and they use very little of it. So they give you an idea when we talk about cuisine and difference between Western and Eastern cuisine, especially Koreans. You guys eat raw garlic with doenjang. Matter of fact, last night we went to a sogogi gooey place and just dipping garlic into doenjang and eating it raw. It's pretty amazing. It's an amazing thing. Okay. Let that go and watching the clock on that time. It's been 3 minutes. Okay, I got a mixing bowl. Put my onions in, parsley. And my duxelle, which has cooled off a lot. Cooled off a lot. Love that sound. Nice sound. Nice sound. Okay. I want to drop that. It's a heavy pan, that's for sure. Let me come over to you and just show you. Where are we? There we go. Freeze for a second there. See how dry the mushrooms are? They are like powder. That's what you want. That's what you want. And it actually is what you need. If you don't do that, it will fall apart when you cook it. So that's what you want. Now we're going to add 1 egg white in there. The reason why I use the white and not the yolk is basically only really for color. You just really want the egg white to hold it together. Ooh, nice egg. That's a nice egg. Now, what would you do with an egg yolk? What would you do in a kitchen with an egg yolk? Mayonnaise, right? Hollandaise, absolutely. The bakery, wow, an awful lot of things to do with egg yolks in the bakery. In a hot kitchen, egg wash, coloring things like that. But mayonnaise, hollandaise are the 2 main things, that's for sure. An egg wash for any kind of anything that you need a nice golden color to. Okay. Just gently mixing this together. Let the stock a little higher. When at all possible, fresh ground black. And we're going to use some what I always like to use is the ground salt when I cook at home. When I first came to Korea, the sea salt, the regular salt you guys use, it's good, but when I first tasted it, it tasted kind of fishy. It tasted kind of fishy, so I didn't, I didn't like it in the beginning, but now I understand. All right, and now it's back to its kind of wet self. Now, if you didn't cook it dry, it would be soupy. Now we're going to add some dry thyme, which could be fresh, but not available in my local super, so we're going with the thyme. And this should sit for a while. A while meaning hours in the refrigerator, so the flavors blend together, which we're going to let it sit for a while the stock is cooking. That cooked very quickly, that's for sure. And we'll do a little time check.
10 minutes.
10 more minutes on this one here, so we'll carry on then. We might as well get ready. But what is really important though is that the duxelle filling sits for a while, so the flavors melange. Because dry black pepper is dry, thyme, obviously, dry thyme is dry, so the flavors aren't released yet. So if it's better to let it sit overnight or a couple of hours in the refrigerator because of the raw egg, is very important. Okay. Moving on now. All right, we got our fish, our duxelle, our stock. I'm going to rinse my hands. I have a large, actually a little too big for what we need it for, but it's all I have. That's for oven proof. This whole thing can go into an oven, and that's how we're going to cook it. So let me move this out of the way. It's a little big for what we're using for, but I don't have anything else that's appropriate. Too big or too small. You could do it in a pot like the stock pot. You could do it. You could cook it into there, but we're going to use this anyway. All right. Add a little more butter. Make sure the butter's cold for this step of the operation. That's for sure. And what I'm going to do is basically rub it. This is to stop it from sticking. And it gives flavor, obviously. We're going to make a butter lemon sauce, so we're going to use this for making the sauce. Okay. Put that on the side, and we're going to need to stop it for a second. I need to get a little more mise en place together before we start. Okay. Now, I told you the recipe was a little complicated. Where am I? There I am. Hi. I told you the recipe was a little complicated. There's a lot of steps to this, but it's fairly simple in the long run, as you can see. Right? We're making duxelle stuffed turbans of sole. Turbans, that is relating to the shape of it. Like the Arab peoples wear turbans on their heads. That's where this comes from. Don't forget, a lot of the Middle East was Spanish colonies, French colonies too. Sole, we're using flounder, but once again, it's the same type of fish, and we're going to make a lemon butter sauce at the end of it. Okay, so we cleaned the fillets of flounder or sole, right? We reserved, once again, keywords, reserved the bones, and made a fish stock, right, which cooked for 10 minutes. And it's turned off, it's behind there. We'll go there. Preheat the oven, I'm doing that. That's downstairs, and that's, okay, that. 400 degrees Fahrenheit. 400 degrees Fahrenheit? What's that Celsius? 205. That means a hot oven. All right, this is a short cooking time. The duxelle's cooked already. The fish will cook very quickly. So you don't want a long cooking time. This is a shallow poaching. All right, once again, it's Fahrenheit. Add 1 egg to to the duxelle, 1 egg white, and then we're going to roll the fish around in the duxelle. Now what we got here is the duxelle, the fish stock, the fish, and the lightly buttered pan. Step 2 here. Alright, there we go. What we're going to do is place the turbans in a lightly buttered pan and pour wine and stock. We're going to add a little extra wine to that. Cover and bake for about 10 minutes. It doesn't take very long. 400 degrees, 205, cooks fairly quick, right? Then we remove the turbans, strain, and then reduce the sauce. Reduce the stock. So we're going to make a sauce. Then we're going to finish it with whole butter and lemon, right? Garnish with chopped parsley. Now, if you notice in here too, this is a lemon butter sauce. There's no roux in here. So if we added a roux, we'd make a veloute. But what we're doing is just a strict butter sauce. Okay? So let's get going. The duxelle itself, it's cooled off. It should pack, what we call pack, meaning that you can form it into balls, basically. If you dip this in flour, egg yolks, bangaro, and fry them, very nice. Very nice. So what we're going to do, we're going to be rolling them in the fillets. I've got some good pieces and some funny pieces. They're all fine for this. This makes a wonderful appetizer. It can make a main course. This might be a little too small. That one I had the problem with. You can see it's a little raggedy. So that might be a little too small. Right? But once again, now they're unevenly shaped. So what we're going to do is start with the small end and roll it like this. But what we're going to do is put the duxelle on the inside. Let me see. Should I get closer? All right. Now you have two sides. You got the flesh side and the skin side. The skin side out, flesh side in. All right. So we're going to take a little scoop. Not a lot of duxelle. You got to remember this is actually a lot of mushrooms here, and make a fairly small ball out of it. Not a ball. I guess kind of long shaped. All right. Skin side out. Take the small side and roll it in. Maybe I should take it off this so you can see. All right. So you roll it in like this. Stand it up. Pack it down. Sometimes you really don't need the toothpicks, but they sure do help if you have any problems. Except my toothpicks aren't sharp. There we go. All right. Pack it in. Place it in. All right. If you notice too, you put the toothpicks facing out, so it's easier to remove them. Once again, right? You want this is the skin side, flesh side in. Start at the small end, go towards the big end. Take a ball, pack it in. You can taste the duxelle. I tasted it before. Make sure it's seasoned well. You want to make sure everything's seasoned well at that. Once again, right? You just put it here and you just roll it. All right, nice little turbans. These are I really like these for two reasons. Is that you can make 100 of them. Once you have all of your mise en place ready, you can make them very quickly. You can freeze these uncooked. And if you freeze them uncooked, and then you can either giangiare, microwave them, or just defrost and go. And it has a great crowd appeal. Once again, skin side, flesh side. It has a big, what I call wow factor. You put out a plate of these as an appetizer, it comes out, and it really has a big wow effect. So I'm going to be rolling these bad boys up. We're going to end this video now while I'm doing this, and we'll pick up when I'm finishing these guys up. There's a certain amount of labor involved there. But I think you guys get a good idea of what's going on. All right? I'm hungry. I'm hungry. Okay. Once again, any questions or anything, please feel free to contact me. We can always talk about it. All right? Okay? See you on the next video.